Flame on! How we doing tonight, everyone? I'm here with my special guest, Nick Lenz. How you doing?
I'm doing good because they made that reference because of, well, who showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Spoilers, Nick.
Yeah, I
Spoilers.
know, but anyone who's seen it basically know what I'm talking about. Let's keep it at that because the movie was really good.
It was. It truly, truly was.
hmm So today we're talking about the October 21st Solicitations, which I sent a link to Jay Heat about this thing. Well, because I figured you wanted this. So, well, I looked at it like, wow, and there's a bunch of new creative teams in these books, and we're going to explore it.
This is going to be a close panel, this one, Taladia, due to how last minute it was. But
Yes.
please feel free to engage in the comment section if you have time.
Yep.
Let me just give me a moment to present the screen.
Yes. Yes. Jay and I do know about the fact about the three new series coming out in December. Justice League Limited by Mark Waid and Dan Moria. New Gods by Ram V. And JSA by Jeff Lemire. We already know about those.
All right. And with that being said,
I love
let's
that artwork. That is so awesome. The Batman sequence, that looks so awesome. I know it's not Dan. I don't remember who does that artwork. Do you recognize the artwork?
I can't tell from this image, at least not this one specifically.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. This is the month they're releasing the all-in one shot. It's like, and here's my weird coincidence. Next month, AEW has the all-in pay-per-view, and DC 2 months later is releasing all-in a one shot called All-In. Just by sheer coincidence. Right?
Yeah, ironic.
But AEW's all-in is much more well promoted than this is. This is just like, oh, we have all-in. Okay. Like, we'll get to basically some of the costumes. Oh my gosh. Like I was talking to Chuck Dix mentioned on Twitter about the Batman one. Oh my gosh, I think it looks lazy. And there it is, the All-In Special by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, art by Dan Severn and Wes Craig. Not bad. I don't mind the cover. The cover is fine. Like, good artwork.
It just feels a little too much, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, it does. And it's just me. There's Darkseid still having the Jim Lee look on one of those covers. I saw one saw Justice League. So this is what I was leaning into. All in. Let's see what it is.
oh, I'm not all the way down. Excuse me.
Yeah. And DC had some episode that was called DC Rebirth. That was awesome.
Following the events of DC's blockbuster storyline, Absolute Power. Bullshit. Excuse me. The heroes of the core DC universe have fought against the deep divisions in the world around them to usher in a new era of unity. Just in time, too, because Darkseid has returned.
Mm-hmm.
Superman must gather every hero on Earth to hold the line against a very different version of the Lord of Apocalypse. As they raise our cosmic defenses and prepare for war, and when the first blow lands, the shockwaves will ripple into every series in the DCU and shake the nature of their reality to its core. But little do they know, the greater threat is still to come, for there is another Earth. The absolute universe is here. Here, DC's biggest icons are coming of age with fewer advantages and far greater opposition that has inspired than ever before, while miraculously retaining the immeasurable heroism that has inspired fans for decades. Can they really protect the light that shines inside them when the world in which they live is hurtling towards a terrible death.
Before we talk about the next comic, some people might be thinking, wait, I thought some people might be mistaken thinking Darkseid last appeared in Darkseid War.
No, he's had other appearances since then.
Yeah, last time I saw him was actually in Just Like Odyssey.
And Prime Justice versus Absolute Justice. Crisis on two continuities. I get where you're going for, Cinema King, but a little too wordy. I appreciate the pun, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Before I talk about the description of the comic, let's talk about this ridiculous costume.
I'm sorry, I just can't take this design seriously. Like, I just...
Yeah, it's like the bat symbol is lazy. My gosh, they're so fucking lazy. Like, is basically the artist over Frank Miller's design with this? This is ridiculous. It's a big, long black line with tiny little things. I think it's a bat. Frank Miller may have a big design, but what is this ridiculous? The armored shoulder pads? The wraparound gauntlets, like bat wings? This is not a good bat. Like, I don't mind the trunks, the belt, the gray is fine. But I don't like the cape. I don't like the bat symbol. And I do not like the fucking things with his hands. It looks so fucking stupid. This is a lazy design. Chuck Dixon doesn't like this either. He doesn't like this. He described his logo as lazy.
Oh God. Okay. I need a minute. Okay.
I mean, I love Batman, but this is stupid. Come on, DC, do a better job doing Ultimate vs. Batman. I mean, you had Earth 1, and that had awesome costume. This is awful.
You had Grayson Batman. You had Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond. You had Damian Wayne Batman 666. You had the Batman who laughs, the Batman who tries too hard. You had
yes. And you
had better designs in this. Like, Jesus.
Like, my gosh. Like, I get, like, you look at that bat symbol, it's like, oh, we're trying so hard to rip off the Frank Miller Batman logo. Does that remind you of that one?
Please let it be established that this version of Batman uses the Venom formula, because that's the only way you could make this make sense.
Yeah, and plus he's bigger than Bruce Wayne Batman. And this isn't Ultimate Bruce Wayne, but he's huge. It's like he's like 20 pounds heavier than the actual one. Like, what is up with the freaking thighs? This is ridiculous. Tibia, okay, give a lot of rants in the comments about this ridiculous costume. Oh my gosh. This costume is... Okay. Let's read Absolute Lazy Batman. Because that's what this is. This is lazy. Like, this is like pulled out of the 90s.
Oh, God. Not even the 90s was this bad, man. Don't even... Peter David, Chuck Dixon, not even the 90s was this bad. Not even the Extreme era was this bad.
Yeah, at least in the 90s, Batman had awesome costumes. This is just... Wow. Nick Durga, I get the fact you're a great artist, but...
This is not your best work, buddy. This is not your...
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I would love to hear, besides Chuck Dixon, I would love to hear let's see. I want to hear Greg Rucka's opinion on this. I'd love to hear Jeff John's opinion about this. I don't know if he loves his designer. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have variant covers by Wes Craig, Jim Lee, Mitch Gerard, also going to be person, and Buttram. Interesting, Jim Lee's doing variant covers now. Like, what was this going to be a cover?
Wonder Woman's is the best design out of the... Absolute Wonder Woman, excuse me. Hers is the best design out of the three, hands down. I will openly admit that.
Yeah. But... Jay, what was the last time you saw Jim Lee ever do a cover before this?
I know it was sometime... It was... I want to say Rebirth, the last time he actively did a project or worked on a project for DC, because he did Forever Evil. He was with Vertigo when Vertigo was consolidating the DC for the New 52.
Forever Evil, that was David Finch who did the art for that one.
Oh, David Finch did the art? I thought Jim Lee did the art on that one.
Jim Lee did the first 12 issues of Justice League, then he left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then it was Tony S. Daniel. I think a lot of the rest of it was Jason Fabok. And I think Gary Frank did that artwork too.
Yeah, before becoming the interim head director after Dan DiDio was fired or terminated or resigned, depending on the context.
Different
He's good
reasons
on the
why he left. Some people say he quit. The other one say he got fired. I'm more inclined he got fired because of the slump in sales DC's had the last several years. And,
and
and
5G.
my guess is Warner Bros. It must blame him for it. He may have won the cause, but I don't think he was directly responsible. I think it's probably his editors who he appointed. That's probably the issue.
Not to mention 5G and trying to copy all new, all different and chase headlines was not the best business strategy. I get you're not a fan of legacy characters, but Marvel now and all new, all different. That was the advantage of that line was the fact no one was reading it. It was crap. You had a chance to actually boost your sales and make a comeback.
Yeah,
Don't double
and
down.
here's the thing: prior to this new initiative, the last new initiative Marvel release was Fresh Start. That was back in 2018.
Yep.
And what initiatives Marvel released? Oh, some stuff for the X-Men, but that's been it. No major comic book initiatives. Like the last one we had was 3 years ago. What did for the Frontier?
And that was just five. I'm not going to say it was okay. 5G was officially 5G was repurposed as future state, but Infinite Frontier might as well have been a do over. I'm not going to say for what storyline specifically, but there was a lot of retreading leading into Dark Crisis, and then they try to rebrand it halfway through like Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth. Like we get it, don't
And
just
making
just
Pariah, the guy who was a supporting character in Richard Crisis, a villain.
like
I,
no.
like, here's the thing. I know we can't get George Perez Pino because he said passed away, but I wonder how Mark Ruppel felt about that.
I mean, again, I'm curious about that too. But if I'm being completely honest with myself, Dark Crisis. Granted, there are worse crossover slash storylines out there,
I
but
would
even though
say
there
it's
are
Joshua
worse,
Williams' most disappointing story he's ever written.
Joshua Williamson is great at character work. I will never take that away from the man, especially with character dynamics, character history, lore. He's great at all that. But Dark Crisis, a full blown crossover at that scale, was too big of a project for him.
And that was the second crossover he worked on. First, he worked with Shadow War, and that was awesome.
Yeah, not to mention all the editorial, the convoluted, the continuity stuff. It was just too. He made the best out of a bad situation, sure, but that was too big of an assignment for him. I mean, let's. He had no business on that project.
I mean, he had not been doing his big stuff not very long. I mean, since he was officially brought back, these comics are doing stuff on and off. First big comic working was Flash.
Yes, New 52 Flash Run, which was
Well,
in blue. Right?
it was Rebirth Flash.
Wait, who was on New 52 Flash?
France Manpo and Brian Bucciolato. And then was Robin Diddy for the rest of the book.
Oh, okay.
It got relaunched. Which, of course, I've heard people been not very happy with that run. I don't think it was terrible, the Robin Diddy run. Did you read it?
I did. It was just a lot of Arrowverse energy, but other than that, the run wasn't bad.
Yeah, though he told me he was not happy that they used his Blue Flash as inspiration for Savitar in Flash TV show. He was not happy with that at all. I asked about that.
Movie Theater King says 5G would have destroyed DC Comics. It could have been a good Elseworld, but they did not know what to do with it.
Yeah. And the only thing
point.
big that came out of it that actually they did build upon it, aside from the Wonder Woman, was the Magistrate. That was it. And that was Batman Comics until Fear State. After Fear State wrapped up, they pretty much got rid of it. And I guess Jameson was approved the fact that, yeah, the Magistrate is useless. No one wanted it. He brought it in the comic probably because he was asked to, and just proved the fact it was completely worthless.
And say what you will about the cyberpunk aesthetic. I mean,
And they continued as that Fugitive Black and White book.
yeah.
I think Fugitive Gotham wasn't a bad book. I did ask Jody Howes about this on Twitter because they had Hunter Panic in the book. You remember the character Mother Panic as Hunter Panic, and her real name is based upon her creators. And she was very happy that she was featured in the book. She had no problem with the character being there. I asked about that, which not a bad idea to ask the creator how they feel about some stuff, right?
Right.
All right, let's see what this. I think this one, if I remember correctly, this is like, oh, what if Batman wasn't rich? That's kind of the premise of this thing.
Without the mansion, without the money, without the butler, what is left in is the absolute dark night.
I have no problem with this being $5. It's a one shot. Okay, what the heck? Now, the S is fine. I have no problem with the S. The S is fine. The suit looks bizarre. It's not terrible, but I saw this. I'm like, okay, what is up with the way it's designed here? It looks so weird. It reminds me a lot. It's like basically like a darker shade of the New 52 costume about the collar.
Actually looks closer to the My Adventures of Superman costume, which, believe it or not, I'm not the biggest fan of the show. Don't get me wrong.
And
Superman
what
is,
was up with the red fire gauntlets? That's so bizarre.
yeah, that's
At
weird.
least in the case of Batman, I appreciate bringing Scott Turn. Fine. He has experience on Batman. He had a whole run, a successful, financially successful run. I almost saw the run for it. Jason Aaron, his only experience writing Superman is doing a few issues of Action Comics. And that's it. I'm quite surprised he's doing this one shot. I would have thought they would have brought in, if he wasn't busy, maybe Josh Williamson could have done it, or Philip Kennedy Johnson would have been interesting. But Jason Aaron? Does that feel like a weird choice to use right this one shot?
Very weird choice. I mean, he did a decent mini arc on what was it, Bizarro and Action and Superman. He did a
Yeah,
decent, and he also had a Batman in Space miniseries, which
yeah.
turned out decent. But again, it's Batman. He had a lot of momentum behind him. This is Jason Aaron's first real project on an Elseworld with no real fan expectation or cultural precedent to carry it through. This could either go really well or really bad.
And look
There's
at
no
this.
in between.
Let's look at this. We have Clayton Crane, Jim Lee, Mato Sura, Wes Craig, and Ralph. A good artist. I don't mind the artist. Clayton Crane is interesting. I never thought he would do a DC book. He's mostly done just Marvel and Valiant. Are you surprised he's doing a cover for this one shot?
I am very surprised. Very surprised.
Without a fortress, without the family, without a home, what is left for the episode Man of Steel? Okay. Wonder Woman. Don't get much
Oh,
to.
God damn it.
What?
Can you get anybody else other than Kelly Thompson?
She's not a bad writer.
Yeah, but her hit miss there she's had more misses than hits.
But what is up with the Wonder Woman costume? This looks weird. Like the fact that her top part of her outfit is silver. In fact, she's got red gauntlet arms. Like this image does not give us like the full costume like the Batman Superman one, but this just it's not bad. I kind of think we need a full reveal of what the suit looks like.
Yeah, I definitely like the Valkyrie aesthetic, like this. They're truly embracing like this war. It kind of reminds me of the New 52 Wonder Woman during the Goddess of War arc. It really does give me that kind of vibe.
Is it just me or she's got tattoos?
I mean, like I said, it's a great design. I have nothing against it.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman having tattoos, that's different. Because her skin has been tattoo free for decades. But now she's got tattoos? And warrior tattoos, mind you? It's kind of weird, but I kind of get the reason why they did this. Because it's a popular thing to do nowadays. Do the warriors to sleeve tattoos. I thought it was a gauntlet. Look close up. It's tattoos on her arms. Like, because I have never seen one with a tattoo for ever. And now she's got tattoos. Do you find that interesting, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, it could go either way. Never be afraid to try something new. It's just you're going to take a bit of a risk. But if you have a good story behind it and it's worthwhile, I think it'll do good.
Yeah, the tiara is definitely from the New 52 Wonder Woman design. But once she's got her head, because that definitely seems like New 52, the Jim Lee design. It's like they took that and they gave her like a completely different new costume.
Without the island paradise, without the sisterhood that shaped her, without a mission of peace, what's left is the absolute Amazon.
Yes, Tom Taylor takes over the book with issue 1000. I heard about this. Um, love this artwork. It looks so good here. Michael Jen doing the artwork. Interesting he's doing this book because basically people love his artwork on Batman. Now he's doing Detective. Ooh, I love that cover. That's a great pose for him. Those really good covers. How do you want Tom Taylor to be on this book?
Again, Tom Taylor is great at character work. He's kind of a he's better on Elseworld stories. If you put Tom Taylor in continuity, he could easily drop the ball or go off the rails. It just depends. It really does just depend.
Yeah, I find it interesting though for issue 1090. This is a double. This is a 40-page issue,
Yep, a double pager.
and it doesn't have a backup. It's just a 40-page issue.
Yep.
I don't deny the fact that Tom Taylor is a superstar. I don't deny that because he has done a lot of really good work over the years.
He has Young Justice, Dark Knights of Steel, Injustice, Dark Knights of Steel, Deceased.
On the Wolverine.
Yes, he's actually done some great work at Marvel too. I won't take it. I won't take it from the man.
Yeah. Long ago, the murders of Thomas and Martha had changed Gotham forever. But there's something you never knew about the Dark Knight's tragic origin, which was lying wait at Batman ever since the fateful night in Crime Alley. And now, all these years later, the ghost of Gotham's past began to reveal itself. That actually sounds quite interesting. What do you think?
I'm very interested in that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it seems like you're a bit away from the laptop.
Give me just a moment.
Okay.
Sorry,
Excuse me.
I had to check something in the back. But yeah, I'm very interested in this comic. I'm at least interested in seeing where it goes. I guess I'm more intrigued by that than anything.
Yeah, and I love that she was very covers here. We got Tony Harris, which he is famous for doing James Robinson's Starman. Drew all 8. I think he drew up pretty much almost the entire series. I think he did like all but the last like 10, 15 issues of the book, but the book was amazing under him. Bruno Rindle, Don Prusen, Ashley Wood, Daniel Sepper. Good choices for artists.
Very good choices.
Have you read James Robinson's Starman?
I read it once. It's been a while since I last read it, but I have read it at least once.
Yeah, I did review it not long ago. It's an amazing book. I think this is the final issue of Absolute Power.
Hopefully.
I'm looking at the cover. I think that's in the middle. It's not Superman. Looks like it could be Superman, but I can't really tell. On the left looks like Flash. On the right, I can't tell who that is. Can you?
Hold on. Let me zoom in the image. But before I do that, question for both Nick and you, Jahi. How do you feel about Absolute Power as a whole? And do you believe... I'm not going to say it's going to be the same as Earth 2 Saga. This is probably going to be a response to Marvel bringing the Ultimate Universe back, or at least a version of it. But as whether it'll be as good as Earth 2 Saga... Now, granted... Earth 2 Saga was good for what it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The middle point, it had a solid foundation, it had a solid starting arc. It had a decent finale with Earth 2 Society, but that middle point, Earth's End, that middle point is definitely the worst part of the series, where it just kind of fizzled out.
Yes, and they were introducing a lot of like Earth 2 versions of popular characters like Brainwave. I thought it was bizarre that they included Constantine included in that story where he got transported to Earth and then him get involved in the story and then he just leaves by the end of the series. You think his inclusion in that story was like not necessary, but was so really well?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it made for it explored the multiverse and how Constantine, but he's not a reality warper. I mean, Constantine, half of what Constantine does is literally get out of Dodge. That's literally what he does.
And being the DC's biggest dick.
You're gonna get me
Because,
demonetized one of these days, Nick. Not gonna lie.
because he's not the nice person.
I know what you meant, but the double entendre is still there.
And the fact that he is still in love with Santana. That definitely looks like Batman. I think that's Poison Ivy on a horse.
Is that Poison Ivy?
Well, it's green. It might be Poison Ivy. It could be an Amazon. But I can definitely tell on the front that's Batman.
Wait, when did Hank Henshaw get in this comic?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've read it. I've only read the first issue. Yeah, that guy looks like Hank Henshaw, but what is up? Oh my gosh, is that the S from the James Gunn movies?
Oh man! Oh,
Like,
that's
okay, yeah, I like that. That is the James Gunn Superman look, right?
yeah. That's the logo. That is literally it.
I'm like, okay, it's fine for the movie. Why is it here?
Is this some kind of AI? Was this an AI prompt gone bad? Like,
Yeah, so you ripped up the James Gunn Superman logo with this thing, and he looks like Hank Henshaw, but oh my gosh. But it looks like the Superman in this weird look, because Hank Henshaw looks like a freaking cyborg. This is not Hank Henshaw. Yeah, Tivia says this is not Hank Henshaw. I'm inclined to believe him, because this looks like a different robot who just happens to look like Superman.
okay, all right. Let's entertain. Even though I would not be surprised they pulled a stunt like this, but let's remotely entertain the idea. You have this original character. Well, relatively original. He was a stand-in for Connor for the whole New 52, but that's neither here nor there. For the most part, original character who was practically the Goten of the Super family, basically a carbon copy of his dad, gets teamed up with Damian Wayne's Robin to the point of being a sidekick, having a relatively mediocre mini series, but that gained a cult following. Only to then turn them into your prompt for your essential all new, all different DC that crashes and burns. You still go through with the age of it anyway. Get a lackluster shelf title that barely lasted a volume and a half, and now you. The more you go down this rabbit hole, the more
Yeah.
ridiculous it becomes.
And I was talking to Phil Cannon Johnson about this, that his run in action practically saved that title.
Pretty much.
Because I don't think his run was bad per se, but I think financially, I think that Bendis may have nearly drove the book to cancellation.
Oh no, it was bad.
Yeah, and plus, okay, I still have to ask the obvious question. Why the heck did you put John Maria Jr. in the artwork?
Oh.
At least Superman had a pretty decent run. I know Tivia hates the Superman book that he wrote. I didn't think it was terrible. It just the action of his portion was not that good.
Wait, are we talking about Bendis' run, or are we talking about
Yeah, Bendis were action and Superman at the same time, which I thought that was weird because that's just kind of a weird thing. Because the last this happened, where Superman and action had the same exact writer, was John Byrne.
Oh God. I still
Because over the years, Action Comics has never shared the same writer as Superman. Never.
The reason I'm shocked, ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason the John Byrne run is infamous.
Because it's beloved.
I walked right into that one, didn't I?
And also the fact that when he brought in Metallo, he made him like the Terminator from the movies. Like design-wise, he pretty much took that from the movies.
Oh yeah, they turned Metallo into a Terminator. There's no question about that. But the Byrne run does have its fair share of controversies.
Oh, you mean like the Big Barda and Superman doing a porno? Oh, by the way, I actually saw a comic, an issue of Superman where Sleaze came back. Because people think, oh, Sleeves popped up for that two-parter, and then he pops up for Countdown. There's another comic I found he popped up in. Oh my gosh, Sleeves. I'm so happy New 52 is not brought him back at all because he was a terrible character. I'm not sure why John Byrne created this character in the first place.
Yeah, some characters are
The most
better.
funny thing about that two-parter, ooh, let's have Darkseid sit on Mr. Miracle's couch. Because the recurring joke is that Darkseid never sits. He very rarely sits. Ooh, look, a comfy chair. I'll sit in that. Because it's Darkseid. You always see him standing and doing this bowdy nonsense. And I'm like, does Darkseid have a throne on Apocalypse so he just has to stand?
Or he does have a throne and he chooses not to sit in it because it's a power state. You never know who's going to usurp and rise against him. So he doesn't sit.
Which I still am curious, like, how the heck did Darkseid get to Earth? It could be a boom tube, but of all things to do, to sit on Mr. Miracle's couch and be so offended, he sits on his couch.
Bushman.
And not long after that, basically, John Byrne ended the whole team up stuff for Action Comics. And then, like, the first issue did with no team up, he introduced one of Superman's greatest villains, Silver Banshee.
Who is currently dating Jimmy Olsen. So hey, kudos to him.
Yep, and she's been featured on the animated series really well. She featured on Justice League. She featured on Supergirl, which did a great job of the character. I even love the look they gave her in the show. I even love the fact they cast a beautiful actress to play her.
Good things all around. Good things all around. Though
Because everybody knows when it comes to Silver Banshee, she's a very beautiful woman, and that's how John Byrne designed her. And her design has never changed. Even with New 52, her design never changed. I found that kind of interesting. Like, she's one of two characters they never changed the design for New 52. The other being Ragman. At last, the remaining resistance fighters fight tooth and nail on the bloody Iron Gamora. Why the heck back here for? Batman and Superman find themselves at bitter odds. Amanda Waller has come too far to get up now. It's time to call reinforcements from beyond the multiverse veil. The fate of our heroes and the future of DC Universe be forever changed as our grand finale Absolute Power changes from the ashes just reborn. Like, okay, so like it can't be the JSA because of a multiverse. So my guess is to bring in just like Infinite here.
I would think so, but I feel like
I think that after this storyline here, my suggestion for comics, do not ever go back this island ever again. Because all it does, it's in really bad stories we do not remember. Because it was heavily featured in the John Kent Superman book, the first one he had. And it's not a good place. DC, do not ever revisit this island ever again. Have it just be on a map. Don't ever go back there ever again. Because anytime we think of this island, we think of bad stuff. Agreed?
Now, agreed. But I'm not going to say it's Krakoa bad, but okay. You know what? Let's have this conversation. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Let's just drop the pretense here. Say what you will about Absolute Power being a downgrade to Cadmus. Because first of all, Cadmus, contrary to it being a part of the DCU and a cartoon, a kid show, what have you, but at least in the context of that storyline, Cadmus was an official government response to a global threat of an established Justice League with the Unlimited Initiative, with international and global charters, and having a watchtower directly above Earth's orbit, especially with fears provocated by Legacy, where Superman was mind controlled by Darkseid based on that Elseworlds comic, as well as the Justice Lords who were standing for the crime syndicate. So there was genuine buildup leading up to Cadmus. Absolute Power, the closest you have is Beast World, and the Titans essentially being a new vanguard after the Justice League disbanded after Dark Crisis. Mm-hmm. All the while, Waller had nothing to do with it because she was technically stranded in the multiverse before she made a pact with a legion of brainiacs to get home, and even then she kept making deals with demons like Neron and Trigon in order to weaken Raven to unleash her darker side. And you think, even with the monotony and I excuse my French here, ladies and gentlemen, even with the clusterfuck of Titans Academy, you really think someone as emotionally monotonous as Raven would not notice, I'm allowed to express myself a lot more than usual. Maybe something's going on here. Or when someone in hell actually tells her, hey, your soul self is missing, maybe someone's trying to use it against you, she does nothing.
Yeah, and also the fact that the whole thing of having the public turning against the heroes, that's all from Legends. Legends anything except was Darkseid who did that, not Waller. It's like Wade is writing Waller to be Earth's version of Darkseid, kind of, with this. Except she's not have some idiot basically proclaiming superheroes are bad. Let's use fake news. And I'm like, why would you use something that everybody hates? Everybody hates fake news. Or and the fact you rip off Marv Wolfman with this idea, because Wolfman did this in Daredevil. Except it was much better storyline than this piece of garbage. Right?
Cinema movie. Yeah, I agree. Cinema movie king. And don't get it twisted. I fell off from Marvel almost a decade ago. And even I remember that Daredevil run, and it was handled with much more tact than this.
Though that run also introduced us to Bullseye.
Indeed. Oh, believe me,
who's still around, despite the fact that he's been killed already once. He got resurrected by the Hand. Like, he at one point was basically put in he actually got killed by Daredevil, supposedly, and then Wade retconned it. Yes, Wade, the same guy who wrote this. He survived, found by Lady Bullseye, his female counterpart who's from Japan, and puts him in this iron lung. And then he's later brought back fully in the pages of Elektra by using hand resurrection to bring it back fully. He still occasionally pops up, but Bullseye is always an awesome character. He's never written badly, I can think of, in comics.
Believe it or not, Bullseye's not really used that often. Usually with Daredevil, he's mostly used against Kingpin.
Isn't it weird though that Bullseye has never? I know he's fought Punisher. He's fought Punisher. I did find kind of interesting. He's never fought Spider-Man. That I can think of.
I mean, they've had a few misunderstandings here and there, but I don't think they've ever went toe to toe in a fight. There'd be no reason to.
Yeah, Bullseye has never fought him at all. I know Punisher has. Daredevil has. I know Elektra has. I'm surprised. I think Wolverine. I know the old man Logan Wolverine has fought Bullseye, but regular Wolverine's never fought him. Oh yeah, Air count the Marvel, brought him back, and be a threat to Marvel. He has done practically nothing since ever since Fallback. He's done nothing. Oh, he's new Flag Smasher. What has he done? Nothing.
If you're gonna bring, contrary to controversy, if you're gonna bring a character back, do something with it. Like if you, Steve-O works as say what you will. Okay, Captain America's Secret Empire to me is about the same as Armageddon 2001, where the ending got rushed. The reveal of the hero who went rogue and betrayed everyone. The ending got rushed by a leak. And in a ragtag effort.
Oh, I actually found out recently what was the cause of that leak.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, DC leaked in a buyer's guide that Captain was going to be Monarch, and they apparently told comic stores, "Get this book. Captain is Monarch." Someone at DC leaked it themselves. I was curious about it a long time until Comic Pop brought up on their review of Armageddon 2001. I'm like, really? That's what caused the leak. So I put him in buyer's guide that Captain was Monarch.
So a cross promotion gone bad.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Batman by Chip Zdarsky. I do like the cover there.
Oh, it is nice.
Jorge Jimenez. Oh, look, Tony Harris doing that rear cover of Batman. With Jeremy Clark, David Nakuma, and Marco Musta. Of these covers, I don't know which one is Tony Harris. That looks like that looks like Kelly Jones. That one, I'm not sure who does that one. I love that one. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I was right. It was Kelly Jones. I was right about that. Walt Simonson, there was Super. Walt Simonson, fun fact, has actually drawn Batman before. He did it in the 70s. So,
Neil Adams.
yes. I think it's interesting the fact he's come back to do a variant cover, but I'm happy he's doing a cover for Batman. It's a comic, because what's the first thing you think of when you think of Walt Simonson? What's the first book you think of?
Can you repeat the name?
Walt Simonson.
Walt Simonson.
What's usually the first comic you think of that he worked on?
The one where Batman and Rachel go duel. No, that was somebody else. That was
Neil Adams.
Yeah, Neil Adams did that one. Okay, sorry, I'm drawing a blank tonight, folks.
Thor.
Right.
He created Beta Ray Bill. For a lot of people, that's the first comic people think of. People think of Walter Simonson.
Beta Ray Bill.
Wife, yes. His wife is also a writer too, but she's not an artist, but she is a writer. But guess who her most famous character she created? He actually appeared in a movie.
Who?
I am Apocalypse. And that was from the X-Men animated series, by the way. Because I really like the fact that he uses comical look for that one. Batman is back with a vengeance. Batman's new public initiatives have Gotham on the verge finally become a great city. Does a bright future, including the Riddler, who's going legit, or our new hero, Commander Star, gathers in one shot murder one of his greatest citizens? The dying city starts here in a case where only Batman can solve, but Anarchist will unveil his world all Gotham. Okay, I do appreciate Zardesky having Riddler turn good because he's done that before in pre-Flashpoint. Never after Flashpoint.
Riddler has gone straight in the past, but whether it would stick, we don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, Chip Zdarsky's run, as a Tim Drake fan, it allowed Tim Drake to get much more shine. But other than that, I just feel like Zdarsky's run, at least sales wise, has fallen off.
I don't think it's number one. I don't think it's number one anymore, is it?
No, I don't even think it's in the top 10 anymore. Last time I saw it. Now those numbers could have changed since I last checked, but it's definitely in the top 20.
Yeah. It's interesting though, this is the next issue for Batman and it's somewhat different artist.
Yep, that is weird. And I believe
this is the guy who started like the first two books I think of this artist is Josh Williams' Flash because he was the first artist in that book, and On the Next Fact by Peter David.
And now, wait, is this same day or same month release? Hold on, October 2nd. Okay, Batman.
It's
twice a month, bi-weekly. Batman 154, Chip Zdarsky, art by Carmine D. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that.
I'm thinking he's probably Italian with that name.
Cover by Jorge Jimenez, variants by Tony Harris, Jeremy Clark, and Gabrielle Gelato. Apologies if I butchered that. The murder has rocketed the heart of Gotham. Batman and Jim Gordon will have to piece together the clues and discover the truth, no matter how dark. Has the Riddler really gone legit? Is the Court of Owls involved? Meanwhile, public sentiment is facing a turning against Wayne Enterprises' public initiatives, with the new hero, Commander Star, sowing the seeds of discontent.
Court of Owls getting involved. That's interesting. I am so happy Josh Williamson is not leaving Superman.
Yeah, Green Arrow I saw coming because it was originally going to be a mini series, but due to high sales, it was expanded, and he's kind of just been writing as he goes along. So I knew Joshua Williamson leaving Green Arrow was the first title off the chopping block. Batman and Robin, because the whole story is really Bruce and Damian reconciling and Bruce stepping up as a parent and Alfred's demise. There's not really much of a story there with Batman and Robin. It's just a rebrand of Robin 2021 in all but name.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, that was really cool about the book is the fact that Bane came back.
Bane and Vengeance from Gotham from the Joker miniseries.
Yeah, because I thought he died, but then nope, he faked his death. I guess Williamson, he must have heard the criticism over the fact that Bane got killed in Infinite Frontier Zero. He must have realized, though, yeah, that's stupid. I'm going to bring it back.
Wait, wasn't that retcon in Task Force Z where Bane was swapped out for Gotham in a luchador costume?
I think so. And plus, also, Josh Williams is a big Chuck Dixon fan, so he probably still has a lot of respect for Chuck Dixon. It's probably the reason why he undid that death.
More than likely. Superman issue 19. Oh, Jared's going to have a field day with this one. Effectively, Lois getting powers again. Is this temporary? Is this new? Is this sticking around? Who knows?
Last time I could think of she got powers was All Star Superman.
Yeah, and that was like a temporary thing for her birthday because Clark was dying in that series if I remember correctly. It was an
I'm like, okay, so calling her Superwoman, even though we have a Superwoman who is Lana Lang, which of course apparently I think DC writers have recently forgotten about her.
She's gotten a bit of a resurgence with Superman and Lois, but Lana Lang, even now, as it's established her getting her powers back, Lana has effectively been retired and engaged to John Henry Irons, aka Steel, or at least the main Steel.
Yes, I don't have a problem with her being with Steel. That's fine. It's different because in pre-Flashpoint she was married to Pete Ross, and they had a baby named Clark. Because she was still in love with Clark despite the fact she was married to Pete Ross.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing where you kind of have like the girl next door. It's kind of like the anti-Peter and MJ to a degree. The girl next door who, although you never really would have worked out as a couple, you're still really great friends. It's kind of like that. Which, ironically, what Marvel tried to do by introducing Paul, but it just didn't work. I get it, especially if we're going off the same Raimi films. MJ has a bit of a toxic streak to her. You've established that multiple times. But you did not execute that well here, and trying to add on an original character won't soften the blow by any stretch of the imagination.
And the only reason why they added there, one of the reasons, because they're ticked that Nick Spencer left them for Substack.
Which was it? And on the 50th anniversary when Gwen Stacy was killed off.
Wow. Way to tick off basically your readers, Marvel, with that. The many deaths of Doomsday.
Oh. Superman and Superwoman must deal with the return of the rampaging Doomsday. And wait, Nani? Superwoman? After the events of Absolute Power, Lois Lane has new powers, but how long can they last? And waiting in the shadows is one of Superman's greatest enemies, the Time Trapper. Jump into a new, exciting story that will shape the future of Superman.
Except Time Trapper is a Legion superhero villain.
Wonder Woman, issue 14. Okay. Jared from Comics League has a very love-hate relationship with this comic. At first, he dropped it from his pull list, but then he found out, I believe it was either last month's solicitations or the solicitations before or August. Okay, in a recent comic, Steve Trevor in main continuity is going to be killed off, and Jared was just jumping over the moon over that. Like, I have nothing against.
Why are we talking about Moon the fact that Steve Trevor's killed? Why would you kill off Wonder Woman's boyfriend?
like I get it. He's the male Lois Lane. He's basically the Dane in distress, or basically the male equivalent of damsel. I don't know what that term would be, but Steve plays his role well enough, and even in earlier eras, he was more of a father figure. I feel like this issue is actually going to be impactful because Trinity is actually going to be officially born in this issue. Just one major factor: where's Emily, the rogue Amazon that actually pushed Diana to a dance still in the tournament for the Wonder Woman mantle? The Amazon that went on a bloody rampage half across the U.S. after what allegedly happened to her. The same Emily that caused an international incident and would basically set up Amazon's attack 2024 with an bloody exclamation point.
I believe, if I remember correctly, in the book, Queen Nebula claimed that the person who caused the whole thing was not an Amazon. I remember that from the book. When she saw, like, yeah, that she's not an Amazon, just some rogue. But with a tidal war against the Sovereign turning, Wonder Woman's greatest love takes matters in her own hands to the consequence. Could Steve's end may begin Diana's greatest venture yet? Behold Trinity. Wow, we're doing a reverse with women refrigerators and kill off a male character to advance a female character.
Male fridging, if you will. But hold on, what would be the term for that exactly?
I just call it basically reverse fridging.
Oh, reverse fridging. Hey, that's not too bad.
Yes. And I'm like, why? Why kill off Steve Trevor? Because DC has no plans for him? Or the fact that they don't want him to get married to Wonder Woman? That's why he's done that in two different, like, several different continuities. He got married in Earth 2. They got married at the end of Earth 1. What's wrong with these two getting married? Absolutely nothing. And the fact he still loves her.
But I feel like a lot. I guess the New 52 put a lot of people, developed a lot of ire. New 52 was not Steve Trevor's best years. He went from a soldier to a Steve Trevor. What's the best way I could put this?
He kept dropping military branches. Like one point he's Navy, another point he's Air Force, he's Army. He kept changing jobs.
And he's never been a grounded or consistent character. He goes into the field, gets in over his head, and Diana saves him. That's basically the same song and dance.
Do you find it weird that he was featured in Wonder Woman in the current continuity to Rebirth? He was never featured in the entirety of the previous volume. Never.
He was not.
There was a funny thing where Ryan was there, and he basically kept making sexist remarks against Wonder Woman. And in the book, she made up with Orion, and then she grabs his groin, and she says to him, "I can live without remarks if you can live without this," meaning his groin, and he backed off from it. That's Brian Azzarello saying, "Don't mess with Wonder Woman, don't insult her, otherwise she'll screw you up."
Yep. Written by Tom King, art by Daniel Sampre's art is wasted on this comic. I'm just being honest. The story does not benefit it well. The Sovereign or King of America, it doesn't really go anywhere.
I don't care for Sovereign. I think he's a terrible villain.
And Sovereign's not even imposing. He has political influence. He has the lasso of deception or lasso of lies in his back pocket. But other than that,
he made himself one of the gods because I remember correctly. Wasn't that Cassie Sandmark's lasso?
Yes.
When did he take it from her?
I guess when he was again, the comic doesn't really make it clear. I'm pretty sure it's likely going to be revealed that they stole the MacGuffin either when the traitor's back was turned or while he was monologuing.
Yes, and the whole thing with Sovereign is he's an old man who hates women. That's all he is. And I'm like, now I don't. If Wonder Woman kills him, it's fine. She's a warrior. I have no problem with her killing people. Do you?
No, depending on the story, it actually can work. I mean, Infinite Crisis is perfect proof of that.
Well, prior to that, she killed Max Lord by snapping his neck.
Because Maxwell Lord was not going to relinquish control of Superman willingly.
Yeah, and I've spoken to Kevin McGuire about him being a villain. He was not happy with that at all. Him becoming a villain, him shooting Ted Cord in the head in Infinite Crisis. I think this book here, I think it just, if I remember, I think it's just a collection of cover artwork.
It's Wonder Woman Uncovered. Yeah, it's a collection.
Action Comics 1070. Like that cover.
Nice.
Wayne is doing this book?
Oh, for the love of. And co-author written by Mariko Tamaki. Now, okay,
She is not a bad writer.
let's
I
be
don't
fair
get why
here.
people think she's a. I actually really enjoy her Detective Comics work.
Shadow of the Bat was a little too bloated because there was no reason that had to be a weekly maxi series for 12 issues. So Shadow of the Bat was a little bloated. Let's at least admit that much. Get it out of the way.
But to admit that people say she's a bad writer, she is not. She is not a terrible writer at all.
I want to say her worst book was a literal self-insert in I Am Not Starfire, which is literally an Elseworld story, self-contained in the form of a graphic novel, and she used her own personal experiences as a base.
Yeah, and Tevin, mutual friend Crimson, hates that book. Doesn't like her work because that one shot.
And that's not so much because of the character's personality. Well, that's largely it. Mandy has a very toxic personality. That's a good chunk of it. But because it takes her halfway through the book before Mandy actively does anything. She just whines, wails, and badmouths. Like, okay, she's basically an angsty preteen. That's literally all it is. It's just an angsty preteen throwing a tantrum for 60 pages before she's finally compelled to do something.
And plus, they depict like she's a daughter of a very beautiful woman. She's overweight.
And Starfire is just trying to be a good mom, focusing on Mandy's future. Like she's not being controlling. She's not trying to make Mandy a warrior. Mandy's literally left to do anything she wants as long as she behaves in society in an appropriate way.
What she also should do is make sure she takes care of her diet, because you saw on the cover she looked very chunky, very very chubby.
That's not. I guess so, but again, it stands to reason. Within reason, Starfire in that story was being a decent mom. I wouldn't even say it's a coming of age story. It's more just Mandy it really is just an older person reflecting on how much of a twat they used to be during their formative years.
Mm-hmm. So we have the arc here, who's interior and cover by Clayton Harry. Sky Purge is also his artwork here. Variant covers. Wes Craig. I'm not sure who Wes Craig even is. Eddie Barrows. I met him. Nice guy. Danny Miki, legendary inker. Who's been inking since the 90s, believe it or not. Mark Spears and Daniel Sampar. Oh my gosh, his variant cover is $7.99?
I think so.
Like, what the heck? DC's getting greedy.
That's really all it boils down to.
Yeah.
And otherworldly. Hold on, I gotta get the voice right. An otherworldly horror tearing its way through Metropolis has emerged from the Phantom Zone. Something is wrong in the zone. Something terrible. And Superman must enter alone to find out what. From the pages of Absolute Power and Batman and Superman World's Finest comes a new action epic unlike any you've seen before. From the visionary creative team of Mark Wolfman and Clayton Henry. Plus, in the backup, the Woman of Tomorrow is here today. Supergirl specials Mariko Tamaki and Skylar Patridge return to bring Kara to the forest reaches of space in pursuit of a mysterious threat only she can handle.
So it's a follow-up to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And I'm like, why couldn't Tom King write this? Why Marcus Amakagi? Have her do the opening story, have Tom King do the backup, because that Supergirl Girl Woman Tomorrow, that was an amazing book.
Action Comics 1071.
Yep.
Trapped in the Phantoms. Hold on. Written by Mark Waid and Marika Tamaki. Art by oh, it's the same people.
Yeah. Investigating the third prisoner was created by his father, soon finds helpless for the dreaded Phantom King, the one who appeared in Tomasi referred him as Superman's Joker. But when surprise reveals in score for him, a clue lies in Superman's signatures. Meanwhile, Supergirl finds him on trial for crime face to face with a judge, of the United Planet's highest court. Okay, so bring back Phantom King here. I have no problem with that at all. He's a good villain, but anybody can ask the obvious question: why is Mark Waid writing Action Comics?
Because it was the only way you were going to keep your note. Hold on. Can you repeat the question, Nick?
Like, okay, so I like the story, but anybody can ask this obvious question: why is Wade writing this book? He has no reason to at all. Like, keep him, but Batman Superman, that's an amazing book. But this book, why? Because he wants to write President Superman?
Mark Waid, his Batman Superman World's Finest is a great run. His bleed over with Neza into Batman versus Robin and Lazarus Planet left a bit to be desired, but again, it's a pretty good run for someone starting out. So I'm not really going to fault, at least to a degree, because Mark Waid has had history of being a scumbag. But if you, but due
I
to
heard
the
he was sued by somebody several years ago. I have no idea what the lawsuit. That was the only time I heard he got sued. I think it was back in 2016. I heard he got sued. 2016, 2017, I think it was. Someone sued him for something. And I mentioned my things wrong. And I mentioned, like, oh, he got sued this year. I don't know what it was for. But if I didn't mention that, then somebody would mention in the comments, like, why didn't you mention about Mark Waid's lawsuit? Which I have no idea where it went. I know he got sued once. I think it was something related to Boom Studios.
Yeah, and he was actually blacklisted from the industry. He was actually blacklisted for a few years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, prior to doing, like, I'm trying to think, like, prior to doing Batman Superman, what was the last comic he worked on?
You know what? Flash, his the one title that put him on the map, his Wally West Flash run from the '90s. I'm sure
I
he's
think
had
the last time he worked on a comic was at Marvel.
That's right. He did do a few Marvel titles here and there.
He did Daredevil, Black Widow. Oh, I think it was last book was Avengers.
That wait, didn't he also do Young Avengers 2, that one comic where he couldn't
No.
write teenagers very well?
No, that was Karen Gillan who did that second block for Young Justice for Young Avengers. That was Karen Gillan who did that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Nick.
Yeah, apparently, from what I heard, the original creative team who did the first one was not available. 3 issues in 1 month?
Holy crap.
Is DC that desperate to release 3 issues in 1 month?
Either that or this is a month-long mini arc. And they're charging $5 for it? Hold on, something's going on. Reinvestigating the Trapped in the Phantom Zone Part 2.
I think we already did this one.
Oh, we already did?
Yeah.
Okay. Action Comics 1072.
Same creative team.
Okay. The secret history of one of Superman's oldest friends, Mon-El, is revealed, and his deadly connection to Zadu, the Phantom King, leaves Superman speechless. The Man of Steel's mission into the corrupt heart of the Zone continues in the most shocking installment yet of the Action Comics Weekly, as the grand villain behind its peril stands poised to strike.
It is
Plus,
weekly.
in the backup, Supergirl finds herself in pursuit of an assassin seeking justice of their own.
And look, it's Mon-El. I think last time he appeared was in Bendis' Legion of Superheroes.
Mm-hmm. Action Comics 1073.
Yeah, it is weekly, apparently.
Yep.
which this is the first time this has happened since the 80s. It was from issue 601 to 642 was all weekly. That was all 1 year. Of course, that was an anthology book at the time. This is a 40-page issues. So you're getting, okay, so this is like 4 comics. And they're 40 pages a piece. You're basically getting a whole graphic novel in 1 month. And this is like $20 worth of comics in 1 month. And this is one comic.
$20.
$4.99 times 4. It's like, since each issue is about $5. Well, actually, it's more like, yeah, it's $20.
DC getting greedy, man. This is ridiculous.
I wonder how long this is going to last for.
One way to find out. Nick, you want to read this one?
It's racing a time for Superman on to event the lethal forces of Zandu and Aether from converging, bringing to save the past. The Man of Steel is forced to face the past. It's a dramatic return of Krypton's last son to his homeworld as the Man of Tomorrow voyages the city of yesterday. Plus, Kara meets the being at the center for Quest. What could they have done to cause this whole universe to unite against them? Find the next chapter thrilling Supergirl. Now, when they did the follow-up for Lewis and Clark in Action Comics for this, they brought back Dan Jurgens' League Weeks to do that follow-up. And this is a follow-up to another book, except they're having Mark Tamakai do this instead of Tom King. Do you find that strange? Jay Heat? Hello?
I'm here.
It seems like you fell asleep. I was asking, do you find it strange the fact that Tom King is not writing this?
Yeah.
Like, this is literally the sequel to what the One Woman Tomorrow miniseries, the Supergirl Woman Tomorrow. It's literally a sequel to that, and yet Tom King's not writing it.
Probably for the best. I mean, I feel like at this point, Tom King should focus more on the movie side of things rather than animation. At least that's my personal opinion about that.
I have heard he did confirm this to me. I met him saw him this year. He is working on the Supergirl movie.
Huh, good for him.
Yes, and I did ask about. He was also selected to do the script for New Gods. That was definitely true. Okay, this is actually the first of new creative teams. We have Dan Winters. Actually, second one, just because we also had Ted Comics switch writers. There's another one switch writers. Nightwing issue 119. We have Dan Winters, Dexter Soy in the artwork. That is interesting. I never thought he'd do Nightwing.
Huh. That is weird. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Because I'm trying to think. I think last book he worked on, I think it was probably. I don't think he worked on the Red Hood miniseries, Red Hood of the Hill. I don't think he worked on that. I think he worked on Outlaw. I think that's the book he worked on. It's been a while since I've seen him on a book. Bloodhaven is erupted into violence as rival gangs vow to the power back game led by Nightwing's cleanup of corrupt officials. But outside force turning gangs against each other, escalates Bloodhaven toward even more sinister ends. To find out, Nightwing must do the unthinkable, no matter what the cost. Don't miss the start of this groundbreaking new story will define what makes me a hero. Interesting. It's almost like Chuck Dixon maybe wanted to do it Nightwing before he left the book.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Or maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe that Deb Grace wanted to do it, but she had to leave the book because of issue 93.
Would you say this is as bad, if not worse, than the Cadmus saga? Because we do get a brief opinion from her in the back.
I don't think this is bad. I don't like the fact it's cost $4.99 for a 32-page comic. What's on being $3.99?
Yeah, it's a little overpriced, not gonna lie.
But doing Gang War Nightwing, okay. I find that interesting, the fact that this is a very original idea, because Nightwing has never dealt with a gang war in his comic before.
Okay. Bloodhaven has erupted in violence as rival gangs vowed to fill the power vacuum left by Nightwing cleaning up of corrupt officials. But is it an outside force turning the gangs against each other or escalating the violence in Bloodhaven towards even more sinister ends? Find out as Nightwing must do the unthinkable, no matter the cost. Don't miss out this new star groundbending new artwork that will redefine what it means to be a hero.
It's almost like this book is doing a brief nod to War Games, but not as crazy as War Games.
Just a bit, just a touch.
Yes. And here's another book that's got a new writer. It's no longer Teeny Howard in this book. It's a brand new writer who I've never heard of before. Elliot Kahn. You ever heard of this writer?
I think so. It does sound familiar.
I have never heard of this writer before. Because when I saw this, I'm like, okay, so you went from Simon Phillips to Tina Howard, two writers who actually I know of. I've met Sam Phillips, great writer, great me person. But this new one, L.A. Clan, I don't know who this is. Mindy Lee, I don't know who that is either. So we have two virtual unknowns doing Harley Quinn. Like, I get maybe the one to jump on and comment back in the book, but could you at least pick a writer that fans I've heard of? Like, I've never heard of this creator at all. It's completely new name to me. Heck, I wouldn't mind if Ram Vegas shot this out. He did Catwoman, so I don't know why I couldn't do Harley Quinn. I don't know how they bring back Frank Terry. Any ever do, but never heard this person. Elizabeth, I think I've heard of that artist before, but yeah. And look at that. It's $3.99. And I wonder why Nightwing is not that price.
Because it's a more popular character and they think they can get more money off it?
Yeah, and plus this book sells. The big weeks of DC all may be a bit clearer than in the snooze lick text here going nuts. Begin pre-written statement. Amen. What? When Harley Quinn discovers our favorite dangerous neighbor in Gotham City, Thurgood Hall has been graffitied by recognition. She breaks bad. And this is a one clown mission to make Gotham City for safe for crime again. Wow. Because about myself and Lucky wouldn't have to. Thanks to excellent work with my new creative team. Like on the Flophouse and Mystery Science Theater 3000, Mindy Lee, who did Bounty and Harley Quinn, Everybody Hates SideQuest? What the heck is this?
I'm more perplexed by the Poison Ivy book than anything. Because when's the last time she's done anything truly villainous since her and Harley got together? Like, name one.
I can't have anything. I don't mind her being an anti-hero. That's fine.
Oh, no, nothing against it. But I just feel like ever since Ivy was reduced to Harley's post-Joker rebound, Ivy's not really doing anything to, cement herself as a villain or ego terrorist or what have you.
And you find it interesting the fact that this is kind of interesting that we don't have these three women do a cross with each other: Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. I mean, yeah, we had Gotham City, we had Gotham Sirens, great series. Well, I'm talking about a crossover with all three women, not just having Harley and Ivy guest star Catwoman. I'm talking about what issue Harley Quinn lead to issue Poison Ivy, issue Catwoman. Like, as far as I can tell, that has never happened. And this has been around for 2 years and has never done a crossover with Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's appeared in the title, but never did a crossover title. I wouldn't mind a crossover between the three books, just that at least this book didn't change the writer. Still G. Willow Wilson.
You want to take this one?
Yes. As she contends with a brand new life of restored powers, Poison Ivy resumes her wrathful and just war for a balanced and neutral world. Her latest mission to restore life to the wetlands of Gotham's industrial waste has destroyed, but her goals are upended by an unintentionally resurrects an ancient piece from Gotham's past, and with it, something hungry. Meanwhile, cleansing fires burn across America. Seeing a country human influence somehow points to blame. Don't have a problem with that. Catwoman 69. Interesting they change her costume. Because that looks like a brand new costume for her. Because this is interesting for Catwoman. Like, she's never had a costume show for Cleveland before. Okay, this one I have heard of. Where was this one?
Okay, Sebastian.
Scroll over more. You will past it.
Oh,
there it is. Taran Gorbach. She wrote Venom, and she's the current writer of Carnage.
Nice.
I believe she's Norwegian. But at least this is a writer I've heard of. Good job, DC. You pick a writer I actually personally heard of. She's a big name. She's been writing comic book for a couple of years now. She's not that bad. I think the first book she worked on was I think it was Extreme Venomverse. Yes. Oh, Frank Cho's doing some Mary covers this one. Interesting. Nobovich, Hamor, Sebastian Fuma. And no 9-11. This is past that one. We're done with that story arc. Selena Kyle does not know why Intense Life was made, nor does she know who ordered it. The have searches as clues who has suddenly orchestrated this lethal mutant manhunt against her. One thing becomes evidently clear. Anne doesn't lie as her life and Catwoman of Gotham City. To save her life, Selena must re-enter the world of sinister international syndicate that years ago portrayed into a world's most former thief. A tale of identity, broken alliances, postponing action begins here. A sinister syndicate. She's never part of syndicate before. I can think of. That's new to me. Jeremy Adams, Green Lantern book. You want to take this one, Jahid?
Oh, sure. Written by Jeremy Adams. The seeds of war have been sown, and now a massive battle rages on across the galaxy. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner must race to unlock the mystery of the Dark Star resurrection, what it means for their beloved friend Kilowog, and just now had to battle an entire planet. The red rage of Mogo rains down across our heroes. As the civil core heats up.
I do like the fact Chris Simmons doing the cover of this one. I think this is a one shot. I love that cover. It looks fantastic. Oh, it's Brad Walker's artwork. Jeremy Adams and Philly Kane Johnson. Civil War, Green Lantern Civil Core Special.
Sorry, I'm just not a fan of Sinestro with a red lantern ring. I'm just not the biggest fan of it personally.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I know it happened in Green Lantern, but why red? Why can't it be yellow? And by the way, where is his core?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just I guess it's the way the last creative team wanted. I kind of fell off on Green Lantern after Rebirth. Not gonna lie, because you had all the Bendis stuff, then you had Teen Lantern, and it was kind of a mess from there. If I'm being completely honest.
Well, in the case of Sinestro, after the opening story, he wasn't seeing it until he popped up in Superman. I think it was when Tomasi has some villain issues. I think his issue was written by Colin Bunn. And then he returned to Green Lantern afterwards. Lord Mirator sends a surprising foe to retrieve Darkstar Ring from John Stewart, which leads to a desperate plan to expose the United Planets as force of evil. Allies able to join during a special issue to launch the Green Lanterns in the direction of change to East Coast River. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird the United Planets have on Green Lanterns. But this is
weird.
Yeah. But I saw this, I'm like, thank you, GC, for finally acknowledging his numbering. How long did
Green.
it take to do this?
How long?
A long time, because the 300 issue was released years ago, but DC never acknowledged that they like. First thing was with Nightwing. I'm happy to do it for Nightwing, and now it's Green Arrow's turn. Awesome. Next person to get it is Green Lantern.
Written by Joshua Williamson and co-written by Chris Condon.
I've never heard of this person.
This oversized issue features the aftermath of Oliver Queen's role in absolute power, while also setting the stage for his next chapter. First, Oliver Queen did the unthinkable to protect his family, and now must deal with the ramifications of his actions. Will his family and friends forgive him? Then get ready for the opening chapter of the Emerald Actor's next adventure. From writer Chris Condon, the Enfield Gang Massacre, the That Texas Blood, and artist Montos, Black Adam, Green Lantern War Journal. I believe that was supposed. Okay, Green Arrow 2024 annual number
I
one.
think this issue might have been Josh Williams' last issue along with this annual, which don't have a problem with him leaving this issue here. No problem with it at all. Nice exit issue, by the way.
Most characters don't even get an exit. Whoops.
Yeah, I guess this annual here is more like an epilogue to Josh Williamson's run.
More than likely.
Yes, Josh Williamson's and Sean Sells' final compilation celebration of Emerald Archer and the Green Arrow family. Oliver Queen goes on an epic journey as the force find the lost piece of his life. An epilogue issue to the last year of Green Arrow. Oh, it's Iceberg's Flash. Let me guess, you dropped this book, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of fell off in this book, not going to lie.
I am so confused. I still read Flash because I love Flash. Like, I'm not going to stop reading just because the book is bad. I just I read it because I love the Flash.
I might give it a try. I might give Pancakes another try, but we're not sharing.
Of course, I read it from a website. I do it for free.
And now we're on Shazam. No, excuse me. We're on The Flash.
Yeah.
Wally, Linda, and the kids come together in the wake of the losses suffered to heat as a family and figure out their new abilities. With this, Wally's trip from a unique fitness endeavor, Scutarius in the center of the earth. Why not? Why Wally's begin an evolution in the new form, and he's not ready to share that with the rest of his family.
So we're going to get Warlord in this issue.
Pretty much.
No, I do like John Layman. I think he's a good writer.
Okay, and he's taking over for Titan. I want to say this is after the Evil Raven story arc with the blood-soaked queen. She had ample room to stop, but she didn't.
I'm trying to remember what was the last book he worked on. I think he worked on a book out Detective. I'm trying to remember what was the last book he worked on. Because I feel like it's been a while.
Oh, excuse me. Titans issue number 16, written by John Layman.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been having technical difficulties all night. Is everything okay? Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm trying to find out exactly what was the last book you worked on. Let's see. I work on DC. Let's see. For DC. Okay. Trying to find out what was the last book he worked on.
Because it has been a minute with John Layman, hasn't it? It's been a minute.
Like, okay, the last book he worked on, and this might surprise you, was Batman Eternal.
Really?
Yes. So The last comic he was released that he wrote came out in August of 2014.
Nice, nice. I guess I guess he came out. Was he? Has he done other jobs since then though at Marvel or on the indie scene?
I'm looking at just at. I think he's maybe. I think maybe he was retired. I mean, last Marvel book he worked on was an issue of Guardians Team Up back in 2015.
It's definitely worth the intrigue at least. Now we're gonna move on to Batman and Robin issue number 14, written by Phil Kennedy Johnson, art and cover by Javier Fernandez.
Interesting. He's taking over this book. I think he might do a good job writing Batman. I don't think he's written Batman before I can think of because the only books he's written for DC have been Action and Grand War Journal. This one feels like a Damon issue,
Possibly.
but based on the description, anyways.
Damian Wayne is the son of the Bat, grandson of the Demon, and Robin. But as he nears the age at which Bruce, his father, traveled the world, one occasion is on his mind. Who is Damien outside of the Crusades? Outside the Crusades, his family has tasked him with fighting since fighting since birth. When he starts to explode, hold on, excuse me. Where what? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Since birth, when he started to look around, look beyond his life of endless violence, a different way to help the world begins to present itself. But when an enigmatic, now murderer, begins reenacting traumatic crimes from Gotham's history, Batman will need more Robin more than ever, and it's a whole new dynamic for the dynamic duo as a powerhouse team up with Phil Kennedy Johnson. Saga and Javier will hire Fernandez and bring you the Dark Web. So analyzing it myself in the next chapter would be Damian Wayne, you are not.
And we apologize it's getting late, but we're going to try and finish this up as quickly as we can.
We are. So please bear with us. We're almost at the end.
Birds of Prey issue 14, still done by Kelly Thompson. I still read this book. Yeah. The Birds of Prey are back in business to infiltrate the ninth day. A mysterious corporation that birds believe can have people, including the Amazons, got missing. This one is undercover Cassandra Cain, breaks contact, speed up to Oracle, Black Canary, Big Barda, Megra, and newcomer Grace Joy, and Onyx buster out. Dumbus is the star of a new thrilling arc where the fate of the Amazons races signs of without war. Grace Joy, that's interesting. This is probably going to be her first appearance post Flashpoint.
I think so. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Because last time she showed up was in Outsiders number 40, Batman vs. 40, back in 2011. Just prior to the Flashpoint reboot. That was the last time she appeared.
You don't say. Batman the Brave and the Bold. This was the anthology series with Christopher Ward, Jeremy Adams, and more.
Yeah, where it's like all the stories are team ups. Let's see. We have a story with Aquaman Martian. Looks like a Batman story and a Miss Martian Aquaman story. Looks like just two stories, but oh my gosh. $8 for 64 pages? Damn. It's a lot.
Yeah, it kind of goes a little out the way there.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And while we're waiting on that, ladies and gentlemen, and while we're waiting on Nick, does anyone else feel like DC's spinning their wheels in the mud for years now? You're not the only one who feels that way, Dave. You are not the only one, let me tell you. I'm just gonna stop here on Power Girl while we're waiting on Nick. So if you have any questions or any inquiries you want to ask me or Nick, feel free to type in the chat. You good?
I'm back.
All right. And all right, World's Finest issue number 32. I'm surprised the
Yeah,
series went on for this long, if I'm being completely honest.
yeah. I'm also surprised Dan Moore is no longer doing the interior of this book.
It's a real shame.
Not
Even
even the combined might of Man of Steel, Dark and Detective can overcome the reincarnation of the little wrath of God. Sounds like a hero is going to need some reinforcements. It's the World's Finest debut of the Justice League as night falls on the DCU. So to find the Spectre,
yep, hopefully it's not another. I'm sorry, Dark Knights of Terror was not a good event. I still think about it sometimes. It was not a good event comic at all.
oh look, it's Power Girl.
All right. Power Girl issue 14. This one kind of did intrigue me a little bit, but eventually I just kind of fell off.
Yeah,
Like this wasn't really going. What about you, Nick? It just didn't feel like it was going anywhere for me at the time I read it.
it was okay when I last read it. I really wish Chip Hummy and Connor were actually doing this book. I mean, I thought probably Williams, but there's no denying the best Power Girl run was Jim Hummy and Manny Connor with Justin Gray. That was the best run for this title.
I agree.
Oh, look at the previous cover.
Who?
The previous cover of this one.
Oh,
The boob butt pose.
mm.
Because that's literally what that is. It's a boob butt pose. That's literally what that is.
The mysterious new hero has taken Metropolis by storm, but Power Girl and Omen don't believe the hype. How can this heroine stop crime before it starts? Find out as Power Girl fights to save her city from itself.
I know that Tiffany didn't like the book because she also Paige instead of Karen.
I don't know why they changed the name. It was just something they decided to do. I guess to better tell
Yeah.
Girl and Power Girl apart. I guess.
Yes, and here's the Shazam title with the head scratching choice of having Josie Campbell still write the book. Not gonna lie, I get the fact Mark Waid had to lead the book, do maybe the other stuff, fine. Like, you could have chosen a better writer than Josie Campbell. Like, here's a good one. I would love it if Jerry Ordway read this character again because he had an amazing run on this book. He can still do it if he wanted to, but I haven't seen him in the book in a while. Do you think he'd be a good writer to replace Joseph Campbell in this book?
I'm sure they could. Excuse me. I'm sure they could if they really wanted to, if someone else was available. But again, these people got to stick to their contracts. So I guess it's
Yeah,
hard.
but for how long? That's the question.
Indeed.
Shazam family road trip were released to an escape from Philly. As the kids hit the road to investigate some twisted monster attacks, Freddy's new powers should come in handy. Except having Zop with him. What will cost his new abilities be more than he can pay? Okay. Not a bad premise, but still wish they picked a different writer, Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, yeah, Josie Campbell. I'm not. She's an okay writer, but it's not really selling. If that makes sense.
Oh, you can also get a person to replace her
Who?
besides Jerry. If he ever gets a chance to write a comic book again, Judd Winnick.
Hmm.
He did write Trial of Shazam.
He did.
It's the Long Halloween, the last Halloween. The It's one of the sequels to Long Halloween.
And
Okay, they say the cover was by Tim Sale. He must have done these covers before he passed away a couple years ago.
he was working on them, at least these first couple of issues. I don't know if he finished all of them for this miniseries, but I know by sample of a process of elimination, he wrapped up at least two.
And we don't know about the other issues per se, but at least through the first two covers. Maybe the reason we did the interior probably because his health was not with him. Like I was surprised he passed away. He was only like in his 60s.
He was still relatively young, if we're being honest.
He was younger than Neil Adams, who was 80 when he passed. I think even George Rowe was 80 as well. In 1986, writer Jeff Loeb and artist Tim Sale teamed up for Batman: The Long Halloween, the award-winning 13-chapter saga that spanned multiple sequels and is an influential Batman story of his era. One of the ones. Now Loeb has returned to the world Long Halloween for a long-anticipated final act. Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. All new 10-part story continuing the story from the 2021 Halloween special. In each issue, Joel will be joined by one of the top artists in comics and be with 11 cover tribute to Tim Sale's art and legacy. Help bring in terrible tragedy that has struck Gotham. Batman and Robin decide to send into the hellish depths of Arkham Asylum to seek answers. They come face to face with some say notorious criminals. That's the book people are going to buy. Okay, now this is a good creative team because this is the oh my gosh, I think this is the third book they work on together. They did Daredevil, Black Widow, and now this book.
Yep, strong creative team. Can't take that away from them. Strong creative team.
It'll be a team that sells. I'm sure this book could be a big seller for DC. While Bruce Wayne adjusts the realities of adopting the orphan Dick Grayson, a mysterious new crime boss called the General has come to Gotham to claim the city by something to destroy their mobs. While his connection to Two-Face, Batman's new sidekick Robin, are Gotham pouncers. They take everything and find and navigate both sides of the relationship as father and son, Diamond Hill, as Dick Grayson's present and future hang in the balance. Interesting way to bring in old Chuck Dixon character.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Poison Ivy says Swamp Thing federal trees. What the heck is up with that artwork?
Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
Oh my gosh. They look like her belly.
Oof.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
George Perez. He usually did that with some women. He did it with Raven, and he did it with Scarlet Witch. They gave him those weird tummies.
Oh yeah, I remember. I actually forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Nick.
Yeah, I don't know why. Not surprised you Wilson's writing this one because she writes the main book. Mike Perkins as the interior artist. Interesting. Okay, Jason Skyline's an interior artist, but his artwork does not fit Poison Ivy. Back cover by Perkins and Clayton Crane. Back cover by Ashley Warwood. Something is wrong with the trees. A presence streaming out in pain, tearing, gashing, and goring through the very fabric of the green, calling out for blood in its wake. A trail of viscera and carnage is left, leading to a mystery that the polymer trees have considered Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing to solve. Can the verdant villainous and the avatar of the green make their way to the heart of the homicide wilderness to discover the source of its horror, or to find themselves the next victim for the feral trees? This is a story of bringing violent life by G. Willis and Mike Perkins. The answer to these questions: beware, terrifying tales, not weak of heart. That actually sounds like a very interesting one shot.
It does. Speaking
Oh,
of
more. I think this is for the video game.
yeah, this is a mini series for the tie-in game.
Another issue, which look at that cover there for that issue. Scope of that issue 2 for that one.
Hmm?
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Oh, sure.
A little more? Up for that issue 2 of that book? No, down a little bit. For issue 3. Action Comics number 1.
I see it now.
And look, it's I think this character, I think that's from Adventure Time, or it's from Gravity Falls.
Which one are you referring to? The one in the
The
bottom
the
right?
one who's screaming.
I think that's Steven from Steven Universe.
I see Tom and Jerry. I see Bugs Bunny. I can't tell who's in the background, but yeah, the Mr. Machine uses that green card from Action Comics number 1. Oh boy. Who would have thunk that the artist Dan Moore homage Action Comics number 1 of all things?
That's crazy.
That's the one I'm not sure whether homaging at all. That's the one I saw that was a Magic Classic cover. This one, I have no idea.
Collision Multiverses, Collision Detection, issue number 4.
DC Horror Presents number 1. Oh my gosh, it's like a corpse Superman. Written by the Ballot Brothers, David Dastmalchian and Lee Kilpatrick. I
A
know who
lot,
Tyler Crook is,
a lot
but
of new talent. A lot of
who
new.
the heck are these people? Tyler Crook, I know who he is because he worked on Colin Bunn's his horror book from Dark Horse, Howard County.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not surprised there's a Creature Commandos book.
Yeah, DC Horror presents Creature Commandos number 1, probably in relation to the TV show.
I think it's surprising that Diamantino doesn't write this book because he created this team. He should have written this book. I have nothing against his writer, but Diamantino should have written this book. He created this team. I did ask him when the thing was announced as a show, is he going to write one of the episodes? He didn't say if he was. I hope he does. Because he has written TV show. He's written scripts before, so it shouldn't be too hard for him. I think this is a one shot.
Yeah, I think so too. This is like a Halloween anthology special.
Yeah. Green Lantern Dark. Interesting. Tate Bremel. Whether I have no idea. The only artist I'm familiar with here is Dan Jurgens and Norm Rampa. Excuse me. Oh, it's a mini series. Bi-monthly. So is this come out twice a month or once every 2 months? But Tate Bremel, never heard of this writer before. Or the artist. Never heard of them.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
I can't
At least,
complain.
okay, at least there's a name people can pronounce, but I get the fact they want to do a horror book, but it just seems like okay. Post-apocalyptic role by monsters, battle between good and evil ended long ago. Evil is won. Now darkness fails. Humanity struggles to survive. The corrupt wasteland remains. Only one hero said to survive was of our shadow cities. The one who wills the mythical green flame could return light to the world. The Green Lantern. But she's missing for years. On an island of New England? Solomon Grundy's undead army grows larger, or however every night. Celebrate horror, artist smash hit, something is killing the children, whether, the artist working on that book with and rise to her house of slaughter to bring you a terrifying, chilling tale of desperation, hope, and resurrection from the bitter remains of the fan favorite, the Tangent Universe? This is from the Tangent Universe.
Huh. You don't say.
Yeah, and here's the thing. My first impression was like flame. I'm like, is this Alan Scott? No, it's Tangiver's Green Lantern.
Ooh, deep cut. Deep
Yeah,
cut.
I never thought basically that apparently the Tangiver's been destroyed. Like, wow, that is something. Like, I heard Tangent like Tangent, meaning universe of Dan Jurgens, who made the Atom. That world's Atom was basically the world's Superman.
I
And
saw.
Doom Patrol basically this is back in the '60s, who basically participated in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuban Missile Crisis. It was a great idea, but this is probably the first thing I've with them in years.
When with Luth okay, with Luthor's schemes revealed, he dispatches his Suicide Squad to Smallville, Kansas, to further secure the secrets of the ancient Kryptonian age. But when the ruthless task force challenges the town's seemingly bumbling sheriff to a deadly duel, they'll quickly discover that this lawn man is simply more than they ever realized.
It seems like we're getting this universe debut of Superman, based on the cover. It's the Deathstroke book, all winter.
Okay?
These first vampires, one more feet, or five.
I guess it's V versus vampires.
Yeah, I guess DC's Desperate Continuous as sort of replacement for Injustice.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if Rosen. What was his hero name again? Before Injustice, Rosen Guten Tag. It was something.
You talking about the writer?
Yep, DC versus Vampires, World War V, issue number 3.
Matthew Rosenberg with and Tyler Boss. Okay, I know who Matthew Rosenberg is. I met him. Honestly, I've heard of this artist, but Tyler Boss, right?
Oh, sure.
The war between vampires, humans, very designs, bloody casualties on all sides. They wane the vampire with the mind of a human. Rain's most desired prize in the fray. Both Green Arrow and the Vampire Army seek to put him down for good. It starts to look like Damian Davis' number until the Dark Knight emerges from the shadows, offers unexpected salvation. Epic was written and drawn, illustrated by Tyler Boss, everyone's favorite interdimensional imp, Batmite, Pops Universe, on his sad fate was Bat Idol. Their other heroes worship, right? Right?
Right.
I have no idea who the heck Tyler Boss is. Still. Batman Full Moon. I think we're like halfway through this, are we?
I, yeah, we're at the very end. All that's left after this is the collections.
Yeah.
Batman Full Moon, which is just a collection of the Batman versus Werewolf, or is it a
Um,
miniseries?
Miniseries. Rodney Barnes, a writer I've heard of. Yeah, he not only did Philadelphia, he also worked on the last Falcon book. The one that lasts 8 issues, the one that was launched replacement for the Captain America Sam Wilson book, and then it was after that. No one saw Sam Wilson again for a few years until he popped up in a miniseries team up with Winter Soldier.
That is true.
Nice House by the Sea, sequel with Nice House by the Lake. 40 pages, and look at that, it's only $3.99 for 40 pages.
Yeah,
Plastic Man No More by Chris Chantwell. Based on that cover, it seems like he's going to team with the Middleman. That's going to be interesting. What do you think?
I agree.
Let's see. Justice League won't listen to him. His wife and kid want to do with him. But Plasma needs a single one pulled together. His grand plan achieved it and starts with kidnapping the middleman. Cause it's for good cause, swears. I was right, it was a middleman. Jenny Sparks. Is this like Tom King's like second book he's currently working right now?
Yeah. I want to say this is his second book he's working alongside. Yeah. Wait, Tom King. Yeah, this has to be his second book. Has to be.
Yeah. I can't think of any other book he's working on. Besides this
Neither,
one one.
neither can I.
The Justice League arrives on the scene to save Dave. They listen to Jenny as she warns them of feel like her, and the heroes be outmatched by their might of Capnam's quest for divinity. Let the games begin. Satana bringing the house. Marcus Amicag, however, Rodriguez.
This is her mini series that's recently wrapping up. Like
Mm-hmm.
October's gonna be the last issue. Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, issue number 10.
I think there's one more issue of this one, and this is done. Because I think there's supposed to be 11 issues.
Yep,
Yep.
11 issues.
Live it down in LA. And below it, I see, I don't know, I see that it's another issue of the comic adaptation My Avengers of Superman. Who wants to read this comic? Not me.
I understand. My Avengers was this is a tie-in for the TV series. My Avengers of Superman issue number 5. The
Oh, here's
DC,
the James book.
yep, from the DC Fall Death in the Family. Robin Lives, issue number 4.
Written by Jamie Matias, or by Rick Nardi, Vancouver by Lee Jimmo. I have never met any people, but good people.
Yep, definitely. Basically, what if Jason Todd survived the events of Bosnia?
Seems like he became evil.
More than likely. Facsimile edition, Batman issue 237.
I think it's Neil Adams. And yep, Danny Neil Adams, Bill Finger. You can't deny the fact Neil Adams' run was actually really good and practically brought Batman out of the campiness.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I guess they credit Bob Kane doing some artwork here, despite the fact he's, from what I heard, not that good of an artist. He had this guy for decades claiming he was the creator of Batman, despite the fact he did not solely create Batman. That was all Bill Finger. It took us years after the man's death to finally be recognized. 2015. That's when they finally recognized him as the co-creator of Batman. All because Bob Kane trying to get him to shut up. At least Stan Lee is open to share credit. Bob Kane is basically selfish.
I suppose so.
That's what I heard about him. It's sad that pretty much everybody who worked in this book since I think pretty much everybody who worked in this issue here since passed away. This one, only George Perez.
Yes, I believe Marv Wolfman is still alive.
I know Jerry Irwin. I know he's still alive. I know because I talk to him on Twitter, so he's very much alive. I don't know if Jake John's alive. Ooh, the Hawkman issue.
Oh, I went a little too far.
Yeah, so Hawkman facts now.
Are we in collections now? Hold on.
Yes, I think so. Let's see.
Scooby Doo, where are you? Scooby Doo Mysteries. Ah, here we are. Hawkman number 4, facsimile edition.
I think this was the debut of Santana.
Debut of Satana.
Yes.
Okay.
Look right there. Reverse print Santana right there. So this is an historic issue right here. And I believe the artist who did this passed away just a few years ago. Gordon Fox passed away, I think it was in the 80s. I think that's it. His collections afterwards.
Almost there. Just a bit
Yes.
more.
Mhm.
Sandman, the complete Shakespeare collection. Teen,
Hmm.
Tit- Teen Titans Go on TV, which is a tie-in comic for the series.
Which is for adults, not very. It's basically a kid show.
Pretty
It's
much.
not. It's not for Fantasy Titans. It's basically for kids, which fine. Not my audience. One reason why they're watching because they insult Young Justice in one episode.
Pretty much.
All right.
Batman, Santa Claus, Silent Night, that winter crossover from last year.
Mm-hmm. Must be the printing of it on sale December 11th, November 26th. Prepare for epic crossover event. Hmm. Hmm.
Red Hood and the Outlaw. This is a webtoon comic. Red Hood and the Outlaws, Volume 3.
Yeah, webtoons. Which I read. I read one of these. These are actually really good. Oh, it's. I think this is supposed to be like the. I
We're
think
almost
it's.
there.
Yeah.
Batman Detective Comics Volume 4, Gotham Nocturne, Intermezzo, Batman Outlaw. Was this the volume leading up to the interim?
I think so.
Yeah,
Let's
because
see.
majority of Ramvy's run was structured on Detective Comics was structured like a soap opera. If I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Nightwing Volume 6, standing at the edge, which is pretty much everything leading up to this point, where we are now currently. Superman Reborn.
Justice Reborn. This is the post House of Brennan issues. I love that logo. Reminds me of the movie logo. The very first movie logo. I think that's where they took its logo from. It took from Superman the movie from the 70s. Because the for years never used the logo, and all of a sudden in 52 they used the logo.
Wonder Woman Volume 2, Sacrifice, which is pretty much going to be everything leading up to Steve Trevor's death, according to Solicitations.
Yes.
The Flash Volume 2, Not Until Time Stood Still.
The book basically that is a slow burn. It's like it's very slow. This book. For a book about a fast man alive, the book is very slow. Do you agree?
Hold on. Sorry, I just lost myself for a second. All right, now we're on. Okay, Harley Quinn Volume 2, Don't Like Me. Yeah, not really a big fan of Harley Quinn. The Watching Hour 2024 edition.
I think it's second printing.
Okay. DC's Finest, Catwoman Lifeline. This is a reprint.
Yes, I think it's like a new printing of like older con stuff. Like really, I saw this and like DC Finance. Interesting. I like the cover price of this one too. I think it's about 30-40 bucks this one.
Nice. Nice.
You'll see when we scroll down to it. See like little collects here, like the first 12 issues of Catwoman, the first volume, Catwoman Defiance, her feature back weekly and showcase. All in one book, and it's only 40 bucks. I gotta say, that's not a bad price um for that book. Just like America, War Between the Earths. I think this is like a lot of the JSA JLA team ups.
I want to say so as well. But it's been a while since I read this era specifically. The
I
era.
recently finished up reviewing Just Like America. I got to the final arc. I did ask, yeah, I was right. It's basically from 45 to 72. I did ask Jay Matias of why he had it where Steel and Vibe got killed off in the last issues. Editorial mandate. The
Yep.
defeat of the Green Lantern. I think this is the early Green Lantern stuff, this one.
Yep.
From the,
Early
from like
silver.
late 50s, early 60s.
Yep. And Wasp makes a cameo in the corner over there.
It's not Wallace, it's Kilfer, it's Star Sapphire.
We're almost there. We're almost at the end. And I want to
Yeah,
say this is the debut of Star Sapphire, the story.
yes.
DC's finest event, Zero Hour Part 1.
Ooh, they're finally collecting the artists beside the main book. Superman 93, Flash 94, Legion 70, final issue of the series. Glenn 55, Superman 637, Team Titans 24, final issue of that book. Dark 24, Val 23, also final issue. Batman 55, 511, Shadowbat 31. City Comics 678, Legionnaires 18, Hawkman 13, Showcase 94, 8 through 9. Still number 8, Superboy number 8, Outsiders 11, and the Heroes Time Crisis 3 through 4. Legion of Superheroes. Oh, it's the Jim Shooter era. Yeah.
DC,
Debut with Flash.
the Human Thunderbolt.
I'd never heard of that title for him before.
I believe it was in a showcase where Barry debuted, and then he was popular enough to get his own title.
Yeah, but he's never heard of the Human Thunderbolt in the comic. Usually heard of Fast Man Alive, not Human Thunderbolt. I think this book, I look at this list of this one, this is basically their issues from All Star Comics, this one. Because they debut in All Star Comics number 3. And then 5 issues later was debut of Wonder Woman. Backup story.
Justice DC's finest, Justice Society of America and Democracy.
Those people not overly familiar with Gardner Fox, he pretty much was DC's equivalent to Stan Lee. He created a lot of characters we do know nowadays. The JSA, the Justice League, Hawkman, Santana. He created a lot of characters for DC Comics. A lot. Like about 20-30% of the ones you see today are created by him.
I agree. Elseworld Superman Volume 2, 2024 edition.
Third anniversary collection. New printing of this one.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. $16.
Oof, for a 30th anniversary special. Really 17.
I think it's hold on. Yeah, that's a is that one is this supposed to be a one shot or is this like a trade hate by reprinting event?
Hold on, I think it's a reprinting of the 30th anniversary anthology because they released the 30th anniversary anthology last year, and I think this is either a recollection or a reprint of it.
Probably. Or it could be the one shot to trade.
Hope maybe. Superman Volume 1, Super Core. Even
I think
my
this is the paperback version of this. Because I own the hardcover of this one.
Batman by Tom King, Book 1.
The good issues that he wrote. Including the Elmer Fudd one. I thought that was funny.
Batman Bruce Wayne murderer turned fugitive on the bus.
Yeah, I heard a story with this one where when they try to include the story at a Bat Summit, this is where Chuck Dickens did this, that they couldn't decide on who the murderers were they left. So Chuck said, "No, wait, stay at the class. Let's find out who actually responsible for this." And the editor of the storyline, Chuck described this whole thing as a mess. And the only reason I turned out didn't. It's not Chuck's fault. He is not responsible for the mess of the storyline where it was. It was the editor's fault for being lazy and basically promoting an environment where the writers ride each other's throats a lot. I think it was Bob Schreck was the. I think he may have been the editor at this point in time, but he was not a popular editor of Batman. Batman the Cult. Not a very popular miniseries, but I actually really enjoy this one.
Written by Jim Starlin, art and cover by Bernie Wrightston,
who I met before he passed away.
Ugh.
I have never met Jim Starlin. I wish I have.
And now Dark Knights of Steel Volume 2.
Paperback.
Deathstroke the Terminator.
It's an omnibus. Not surprised, $125.
And Injustice God Among Us Compendium Part 1.
Probably the first two books. Almost the entire book, or the entire event.
Multiversity, Harley screws up the DCU.
Yep, we're just about done here with this.
Yep, Joe the Barbarian.
Grant Morrison. Oh, look, is the first way collecting Colin Kelly Jackson lays things for Outsiders. And that is it.
Hold on, I think I went too far down. Okay, Suicide Squad Dream Team, Poison Ivy Volume 4, Outsiders Volume 1, which is basically DC Treasure Island. Okay. We were just about at the end. Okay, Outside Volume 1, Poison Ivy Volume 4, Origins of Species, Suicide Squad, you're severing the team. And
yep, Alomar wrote that, and he was not happy that his company got bought up by DC Comics. He was not happy because he wanted nothing to do with them, so he left. So DC owns his characters they created for this company, with the exception of League of Strangers. I think he still writes that, but the rest of the characters in ABC Comics, he doesn't own them anymore because DC bought them for some reason, and now doing new printing of the Promethea book.
And I think that was the last one. Absolute Promethea, Book 1. That was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was a long night. Any final thoughts on the solicitations, Nick?
Yeah, these are good. I actually like these solicitations. Some of the books that look interesting to read, but it's getting really late. We should probably get to bed.
Yeah, same. But
These is Grant Morrison. Yeah, I have noticed that. The guy should get a little bit of love that he does because the guy. Oh, as a matter of fact,
hello?
this is not a spoiler for Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you just froze for a second. Froze for a second.
They pretty much included his one of his characters in Deadpool Wolverine, Cassandra Nova, which I'm sure he got checked for that, and for Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Jay, seems like you're disappearing in your background.
I'm trying to hang. I'm still in here.
Yeah.
But again, my final thoughts for me, this was a great solicitation. A little bit of retreading all around, but that's to be expected.
Hmm.
And again, I just want to thank everyone for helping me reach over 260 subscribers. I just got the news today. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you from the bottom of my heart. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. It's really going to be a blast. And Nick, do you have anything you want to add or comment on before we wrap up? Anything you want to promote?
I do have some videos coming tomorrow. The only thing I wish these lists would include is if DC finally collects Chuck Dixon's run for Green Arrow. That's still not a trade.
Someday. Someday. And yes, part 2 of my Gotham Knights review is in the works, Tevia.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe. Flame off.